Hi, this is Angela, and you are listening to Divinely Connected. I am here with your weekly guidance for the week of June 25th through to July 1st. Happy Candles Day. All right, let's see what we have in store for us this week. All right. Oh, very good. So we're coming in with a lot of divine ideas. And I do feel like that there has been this shift coming in within the past, I don't know, I want to say even 3 days. And I feel like it's going to continue through this entire week because if I remember correctly, July 3rd is full moon. Right. So a lot of sorting out, a lot of lining up, a lot of letting go, getting preparation for letting go, for purging is coming in. So you're going to notice that you're having a lot of great ideas coming in. Now, we can't always execute it all at once, right? So there is this need to not overwhelm yourself. And sometimes the information will come in when we're in a season of flow, in that we are going to then, jot it down, right? A lot of these times, these great ideas or these things that we want to do is going to come in ways where we can kind of remind ourselves, right? And make a little note of it and come back to it later on. And I think that that's something that is important. Again, it's not that you get these ideas and then you drop the ball and you didn't execute it. Sometimes the ideas come in when there's less resistance to ideas, but it may be something that is for later, right? And I think that that's so important to remind yourself as you go through this. It says a wonderful new idea. Don't allow bumps in the road to hinder your progress. Clear up communication problems with others. So there is this sense of, so we love Archangel Michael, right? And we love the new beginning vibe that comes with this, and this almost like brainstorming type of energy, throwing out the ideas to the universe. So don't shoot it down so quickly. Oh, I don't have the time for that. I don't have the money for that, or that must be nice, or you know what I mean. People like me don't get to do that. That's not the dialogue that we're having. And the card says clear up communication problems with others. This is clearly with yourself. So there really needs to be this sense of self-awareness coming in to the dialogue of what you are saying, right? Remember that the universe is always listening. The universe is always listening. And it's not only listening to our affirmations and things that we say with intention. It's listening to the intention behind it. It's listening to that inner dialogue that is consistently maybe saying the opposite. So there is that self-awareness that needs to come in, and that self-accountability to the dialogue, internal and external. Okay. And I also feel like, because they're like, and listen, this is a week where you cannot be loose. Well, I mean, you can be loose lipped, but it's not going to end pretty. This is not the week to be loose lipped. Okay. This is not the week. There is a lot of combative energy connected to communications, they're saying, because there is this sense of a higher line of irritability, right? And this can be, again, as we're inching towards that full moon, that endings coming in. There's a lot of emotional endings coming in. There's been a lot of endings coming in the weekly cards, even last week. Again, repeating through this week as well. Endings, which would be departures, which would be wrapping up of seasons, life lessons, schooling, teaching. Maybe we're graduating. Maybe we're getting laid off. Maybe our relationships are dissolving. So there is a lot of completions coming in, right? And never look at any one thing that I just said as a failure. It's a completion, right? This completion with that person, this experience with that person is now completed. This whether it's a departure, whether it's a breakup, whether it's a splitting of ways, whether it's an estrangement, whether it's a colleague going to a new job, right? And it's always these completions, these life lessons that are coming in, or these experiences that are wrapping up. But you have to remember as well, what do we say? Whatever once was that no longer is has a grieving period. Grief is not only for departed loved ones. When we understand that, then that grieving energy that we're feeling is not going to be interpreted as doubt, fear. When we have that bittersweet emotions, there is going to be that letting go energy as well, as we're welcoming in these new beginnings, these new divinely inspired ideas that are going to be followed up with action. Okay. So you have to understand as well that there is a lot happening for a lot of people. which means, right, there is a higher probability of spicy encounters, of road rage, of rude people at the grocery store, right? That ego is definitely going to be more easier to be triggered. So keeping this in mind, that we want to be a little bit more intentional with our communication and maybe a little bit slower with our quick reactions when we're in that type of situation. Okay. There is divine guidance coming in. So this card is again just a lot of reassurance that you are moving forward in the ways that you were meant to, and that you're not alone as you go through it. Okay, and there you may be also finding yourself, and it's a change card. Five there represents change. You may find yourself asking the big questions. Right. So not only are we in this kind of brainstorming energy this week as well, especially the first half of the week, you may also find yourself going, well, geez, I don't even know. What do I want to do? I don't even know. What's the plans for the summer? I don't even know. Right? Like I don't even know what I want. So ask your soul, take that time to check within and create that stability within. I think that is something that is really important. There's also saying is keep an open mind. You want to make sure that you are keeping an open mind. You want to make sure that you are not boxing yourself in, because they're showing me that there's all these like almost like little opportunities or experiences that are kind of just out of reach, so they're almost lined up to be in present time for you, so that they're coming in, but there's almost this feeling of like overprotection. So I'm not going to allow myself to have that experience, because why? Because I'm really defensive, or because I feel vulnerable, or I feel insecure, or I feel unsure, right? So again, having that self accountability and that self awareness is going to be able to help you catch that, right? And I think that that's so important. Everyone feels vulnerable when we're in new situations, or when we're around people that we don't know. We may also find ourselves when we're in interactions with people that we don't know, that we may be presenting ourselves in a way that's not even aligned with ourselves. Right. And I remember recently, just as a relatable example, I was in a situation where they weren't like my people, and it wasn't like a work thing. So I was just kind of like feeling it out. And I noticed myself almost kind of going to the negative, and I'm like, "What am I doing? Like, that's not who I am." You know what I mean? But I think that's how my feelings of discomfort were being represented. So in real time, I was like, "Oh no, let's reel that back. That's not how I want to present my energy. That's not how I want." But if we don't have that self-awareness, we don't know that, right? And then that's maybe where we're getting into those spicy conversations, or those, heated communications. So again, having that self-awareness and going, okay, check in. Let's check in. How am I feeling? Am I representing myself in my true authentic self? Am I feeling uncomfortable? Okay, well, why am I feeling uncomfortable? Right? And you can do this very quick. You can do this in real time, in a present interaction, right? And just to remind yourself that everybody feels like this. Like, you are not different for feeling like this. I have yet to meet someone who hasn't felt less than uncomfortable or vulnerable in a new situation, experience, or environment. Okay. We do have the justice card coming in. Also, the eight coming in. So, eights again in angel numbers is very reassuring that you are exactly where you're meant to be, right? So, this is again just showing that divine timing is lined up here. It says, fight for justice and equality, rulings made in your favor. Don't give up. So, anything that you've been waiting on or working towards, or wondering how the cookie is going to crumble, whether this is legal proceedings, whether this is schooling, whether this is promotions, whether this is, am I getting the financing? Like, how is this? Whatever it is that we're wanting to have an answer on, it is coming in a positive way for you. Okay. Now, what's interesting about this, because I'm like, this is clearly a positive for you, but it does have feelings of a little bit of lackluster, right? So if we're in a win energy, we would think that we would be more excited about the win. So this may be something that is bittersweet. This may be something that is heard because the answer's coming in, and that is then bringing in a completion. There may be as well, this could be, representing how you're not allowing yourself to be happy. You're not allowing yourself to have wins. So wherever this falls on the spectrum for you, again, apparently this week's theme is bring your self awareness within. Because there's something going on that they want us to see, right? Like, that's the feeling that's coming in. They're not wanting us to go through this week kind of with our head in the sand. And they don't want us to be missing these life lessons and these opportunities, because as soon as we learn the life lesson, then we are moving forward, right? And we're into that motion. And so it is this sense of, let's be very aware. Let's be that person who is observing how this week goes, and stay away from the pointing of the fingers, because they're like, every time you point out, you want to come back and bring it to you. We don't have control over what they're going to do. And we also cannot learn their life lessons for them, right? So we need to make sure that we are going to bring that within and go, okay, well, how is this affecting me? Where is this coming? What emotions are coming up, right? And just kind of have this full view of what's happening as we're going through this week. Now, what's interesting is that this does not feel like a high activity week, in the sense of like I'm going one, two, two, and I'm just like all over the place and it's nonstop. So there is going to be a lot of time available for you to have these little check-ins with yourself, right? And have these little reflection moments with yourself. So keep that in mind as well, that that is something that is coming through very strongly, to be encouraged for you to do. We do have the two of Gabriel coming in, and this is all about being bold and ambitious, right? So again, what is that? Feels like something's being offered to you, right? So whether it's an invitation, maybe it's a date, maybe it's a new opportunity or a new experience. It says, make bold and ambitious choices. Great progress is possible. Important relationships with people who share your vision. So there does have this sense of, like, it was almost like they gave me a lending hand. So it's either something that is being offered to you, or something that we are partnering up for, or that we are being um, kind of collaborating with, is the type of energy. Again, with that feeling of vulnerability, this is why they're saying, like, be bold and ambitious. This may not be something that you saw coming in this week for you. This may not be something that you have ever done before. You may be feeling a little unsure, but it does have a lot of feelings of it being a positive for you. Okay. And don't worry about it, because look, I just pulled another card to expand on that, and says is when you give, you also receive. You're being resistant to change. Okay. Extremes in how you save or spend money. So there is this sense of, and to me, in this message, the spending of the money is the feeling of allowing of energy, right? So just remember that money is just energy. And so this is what this feeling is, right? So extremes, we're either giving it all or we're really shut off. We're either throwing our energy out and just hemorrhaging with no boundaries, or we're kind of shut off, right? So again, self-awareness coming in this week with that. And again, just bringing that awareness within. Call yourself out on it. Hold yourself accountable. I think that this is so important, right? As we go through, and we have these feelings come up, we can ask ourselves, okay, well, why am I feeling this way? Right. And it will bring in so much wisdom, because sometimes the answers are so ridiculous. And you're just like, oh my God, that doesn't even make sense. I'm not going to feel that anymore. Right. But like, that's what the awareness does. We also have the Queen of Raphael coming in and says, follow your heart. A love for home and family, trustworthy psychic information. So you're really finding your way back to yourself. It has been having crazy. I feel like the last 3 months for everyone, oh, they're even saying 4, has just been really not your jam. Like, it's not our normal familiar living. Like, it just seems like we've just been a little off for a little too long, right? Like, that's the feeling. Like, we're going through the motions and we're getting done what needs to get done, but like nothing feels like great. Like, you know what I mean? And it's not that we're failing at it. It just doesn't feel like the way that we want it to feel. Our life doesn't look like the way that it usually looks like, or feels like. It doesn't have that familiar feeling. So this is the sense of all this awareness that's coming in, right? Think of how many times just in this recording alone, they say, bring your self-awareness within. Look at this. Don't point the fingers out. Bring it within. Don't play the blame game. Bring it within. Hold that self-accountability. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I holding myself back? What is my internal dialogue saying? Is it actually working against me? Is it actually, manifesting everything that I don't want? We need to have that awareness. And this is getting back and building that foundation within you. right? So again, getting back to a place where you feel aligned with yourself, where you feel safe and secure with yourself again, and in your ability to make decisions. That feeling of burnt out, or like just what's that a little bit frazzled or a little bit disconnected from yourself is also weaning off. Okay. I would say by the second full week of July, by the end of the first full week of July, you'll be feeling way more aligned with yourself, way more anchored down in yourself, less flighty, less kind of like, okay, okay, what is it that I needed to do? And oh, they're feeling more anchored down. So we're really looking forward to that as well. That's it. I feel like that's enough. I feel like that's enough. Next week it will be July. Believe it or not, I can't even believe that. It's just wild. The kids are that excited to be on summer vacation, as am I. I am happy for them to not be fighting over lunches. I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I will be back here next Sunday on your weekly guidance.